So, I am currently on my Choji arc and I'm eating while making this, but so probably gonna have to mute up a couple times while reacting. But I saw this, and this is something I've never seen no one do a tier list on, and I personally never thought to do a tier list on. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty interesting. So I actually just wanted to do a reaction to it because I ain't gonna lie, I didn't really have nothing to upload off of Shinobi, so I was high key gonna upload some Terraria gameplay, but forget it. Right, we're here, and it's Don Julio best substitution to tier list, and I'm very curious by this list. I'm not gonna like spoil myself or nothing by skipping. I kind of just want a raw reaction and see like his takes. I'm gonna say if I agree, disagree, or whatever. But without further ado, get right into it and just see what he says.
So we're starting off strong here. First of all, we got Stone Clone. Honestly, this is an easy S tier. So what it is, pretty much, when they hit the clone, it does a good amount of damage, first of all, and it reduces their guard durability drastically. And when it says drastically, I mean like one punch, one kunai, one of anything, break their guard. And I don't know if you guys know this, but when you break guards, it resets their substitution stock to 0, and also resets the combo count as well too. So you can perform longer combos and you can get 300 to 0s basically depending on your build. It also does boost your movement speed for, I think, like 5 seconds after by a good amount. The only thing that is a bit annoying though is that the speed buff takes some time, like the Stone Clone actually has to like crumble and stuff. But overall, an amazing sub. Good on every roll, good in pit, good every.
Alright, so I would say, I feel like every sub you can put on every roll, so I don't know, that might be an interesting way to put it, but, for Stone sub, I feel like it's alright. I would not put this S tier by any means, personally. No one uses it. Like, there's things in the game to kind of just do this, but easier, like Raging God Medicine. Or if I really wanted to
God,
do
it's so
like
good.
break someone's guard, I'm just gonna use a
So
jutsu
good.
that has a pretty easy time breaking someone's guard. I don't know. Personally, I feel like this is kind of just using one of your slots for like, or using your sub slot for something that you can probably just get naturally. I feel like it's a waste of a sub. So I'm saying it's horrible, but I don't know if I would put it here. But that's really it. I think maybe I might just go over the important subs or the ones I find ridiculous. I think that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do.
Next, we have Multi Shadow Clone. I think this is another. I don't think this sub is that good, to be honest. Not gonna lie. The only thing, actually, no, I'll put an A tier. The only reason why I say it's A tier because it is annoying, but other than that, it's 2 stocks. The cooldown is long, but you can have like infinite sub setups with this, which is why I put it in really good. If you know how to like space out your subs correctly. And what it does is that it also sends clones, like 3 clones to charge at the enemy as well too. So if they try to lock onto you, they'll be forced to lock onto 3 clones, which it can make it a little bit harder for them to track you, give you extra time to run away and stuff like that. And I guess having 2 stocks is also nice. Actually, I'll put this above Swift Step because it's very annoying. But yeah, it's still interchangeable, I think. Still a good sub, regardless. I don't like using it, but yeah. Explosion Clone.
Now I feel like that right there is a pretty hot take. Now putting it in A tier isn't the issue. It's putting it like below Stone and Ice, because in my opinion, right, if you're getting jumped in a 4v4 or 1v1, right, I'm looking at this in both settings, like that's but I feel like if you're getting jumped in a 4v4, Ice Clone is not about to save you. Like okay, like it has these low chance of hitting all 4, but let's be honest, that might hit 1 or 2 at max, and then the other 2 are still gonna be jumping you. Like, I don't know, maybe your teammates are all dead, maybe you're the last one alive, maybe 2 of your teammates are dead. There could be a reason why you're getting jumped. But either way, I feel like Multi Shadow Clone has a better chance at saving you because what he said, the multiple of yourself is rushing towards the enemy to stop them from locking onto you, and there's 2 stocks of it. Now, yes, there's a long charge for that, but yeah, of course it's gonna be. I feel like that long charge doesn't even really hurt that much. I mean, yeah, I don't think we want that to be like 30 seconds. So, in my opinion, I feel like that's the best sub he has picked out right now. Because it's just, I feel like it'll perform good in both 1v1s and 4v4s for like its intended purpose. But continue.
Time Space Hop. This is another sub that I think is really good, to be honest. I'm gonna probably put it in A+ tier, only because it got nerfed a little bit, but it is still really good. So what it does is that it does give you iframes for like, I think like 2 to 3 seconds ish. Now what's different about this compared to Kamui is that, so with Kamui, with certain actions, it will take you out of the Kamui. So let's say you're in Kamui and you use your summon animal, for example, they can still like hit you out of the animation like while you're trying to summon the animal. But with Time Space Hop, when you're doing the whole summon animation, you are vulnerable the entire time. So that can be very, very helpful for getting out of sticky situations on like a healer class, ATK range. Honestly, this sub is good on any role. Not to mention that it does reduce your cooldowns a little bit, so you can be charging your cooldowns as the time space is coming back. This is a really good sub, and having iframes is really, really underrated, man. Very good sub, honestly.
Now, I'll also say this before I give a take on time space, is that with time space, I think he's doing this tier list kind of based on like the builds you can do with the sub. Like I don't think he's technically taking the sub like just by itself, which is nothing wrong with that, right? Like best case scenario. But the way I'm looking at it and why I'm placing it this way as well is different from him, as I'm looking at it like just by itself. So I'm not looking at multi Shadow Clone as a oh, you can infinitely spam while using Sharingan and stuff. I'm looking as a sub at face value. You know, Exploding Clone, I'm not mad at where it would be, but I would put it lower because I'm just doing it by itself. It's not hard to dodge. It's kind of just back in the day it was, but now I feel like everyone's learned to dodge it. It's just a minor inconvenience. It kind of just like whatever. I mean, it's decent pressure, but that's it. 40 seconds for decent pressure. Yeah, no, I'd rather have another sub do that for me. So, but that's why. But with time space, I feel like time space where it's at is fine for the most part. I do think, again, it being below Earth and ice is a bit crazy. I mean, the 4v4 again, 4v4, 1v1, time space is gonna do you justice. It's not the best sub in the game anymore like it used to be, but like you said, you can use it while casting your pet. You can, it's charging your ninjutsus up. I feel like it's more useful because time space, the sub doesn't rely on your opponent being oblivious to be good. Earth Clone, Ice Clone, those are still relying on your opponent to like rush you and not know. If I'm aware of what my opponent's doing, then I can just dodge those. Right? If I'm in time space, they can't really do nothing about me being in time space unless they have like Cooling Breeze or something. So I thought I'll place it there. That's the only again. I feel like that's kind of like, I don't know, like where it's at isn't the issue again. It's really the fact that it's like below like a Clay Clone personally for me. I don't know, maybe he has different experiences with it. Let's continue.
Next we have Emergency Exit. This is another sub that I think is pretty good as well too, depending on how you use it. But compared to a lot of these other ones, like it kind of falls short a little bit. I'm probably gonna put it above. Actually, yeah, I'll put it maybe below Swift Step. I don't think it's better than Swift Step, but it's still a good sub. What it does is that you sub, right, and you'll get like a good amount of HP. Like not a good amount, maybe like 10%, like 5 to 10% HP back over time. The only thing is though that it doesn't remove a lock on, which is kind of annoying. But what I do like about it is that it removes any kind of debuff. So if your juices are sealed, it'll remove that. If you're slowed, if you have lower defense, Depending on the role, it can be very useful. I find that it's mostly useful on like range types and 1v1s and pit. On defense types, you can use it on every mode, especially base battle. This is why I like to use on base battle personally. It's pretty good. ATKs can probably use it too. Honestly, it's not a bad sub. It's just outshined by a lot of other ones, but it's still good at what it does, to be honest.
Now, with emergency exit, that I'm fine with it. It's one of my most used subs, but I will say it is more dependent on builds, because emergency exit has this thing. It can it can be clutch because it burn damage. You sub, you're good. You hit with like, you know, the Satye dual ult that like burns you a lot. You could sub from that. Take basically maze ult, basically a lot of like burn damage stuff that would just murk you. It's just off. Very useful. But the issue that I have with it is that that you're running like any heals, like anything that gradually heals over time, it just gets rid of it. Like if I'm running 7 heavily breaths and I have emergency exit on, emergency heals is above it. Heal scroll, emergency heals is above it. Any healing you have, emergency will have better heals in it, because for some reason they like design it to where it's always going to be above anything in healing. That's my one issue with the emergency exit. Which is kind of a major like fallback, because then like if you're using emergency exit, you kind of have to watch what you're using with it. You can't actually just go and really put whatever you want on. So that's the one thing I will say I dislike heavily about it. But apart from that, I'm fine with the ranking. Again, I still think emergency is above ice and clay, because again, you do not need specifics for emergency. I feel like, you know, you can just kind of go in, use it. If someone hits you, you use it. Boom. Like you're not hoping like that your clone catches them. So let's continue.
Next we have Raymond. Raymond is another sub that's pretty good as well too. I think this is. I don't think it's as good as people say it is, but I'm gonna probably put it at the top of A tier because it's really good.
Now, I'm not even gonna let my boy in here finish. I'm just gonna say real quick that I feel like
so good and tasty.
I use these subs than use Raymond personally, but I guess it just comes down to playstyle. Like if you need super armor or you're using like a low priority weapon, then I guess it is nice, but there's a lot of counters to super armor now, so this is kind of just falls short, to be honest. Like me personally, I always run super armor counters, or if someone is in Raymond, just don't fight them until the Raymond goes away. Like it's not that difficult to deal with, in my opinion. It's a good sub, but I don't think it's that great, or it deserves any of these spots up here. Plus, it does remove lock on too, so there's that. Next, we have the light.
All right. And that being said, I'll let him finish. That's a horrible take. See, everything else I could get down with besides that. Now, I'm gonna explain why it's a horrible take, in my opinion. For the armor, you're getting super armor. You're right. There are multiple things in this game that take away super armor now. There is for sure. All right, let's not act like I have a super armor breaker on all of my builds too. Yeah, that's of course, but the thing is, it's still armor. Like that doesn't change the fact that you're still getting super armor, like at all. Like even if it's like, oh, just don't fight them, or just run. The super armor only lasts for 5 seconds. 5 seconds is more than enough time of what you need. Depending on what they're using, you're just, I mean, you're kind of just cooked in general. I mean, it's still just oppressive. Like it is just kind of every sub you put above it, I wouldn't even put above it. Like clay clone, like ice clone, like yes, it's not a clone sub, but you're still like fine. Like I mean, if I again, let's take what you said earlier. I don't know if I put it in the video, but subs are meant to kind of be a way to escape. So if I have armor sub on, I feel like people are not going to want to fight me, so it's a way to escape, like a clone sub. Versus And then situation wise, armor sub is great. Like for probably every situation. 1v1, stupid. Right? 4v4, stupid, right? Base battle and whatever. Flag. Running armor sub, and you can run time space and flag or armor sub. You're probably better off running armor sub than flag than like something like time space, because they're probably gonna have something to take you out of I don't know what you would call it, the time space, right? They're probably not gonna at 3 seconds versus 5 seconds on armor sub. Like there's been times where I'll hit someone like that has the flag, they'll sub, and I just see his armor sub, and there's nothing I can do about it, because I have a flag running build my own self. So I see armor subs like, dang, well, that's too bad. Like that's kind of how like I view I feel like armor sub kind of just like dominates the game in terms of subs right now. I feel like the best sub in the game. There's like it's not hard to fight it. I can fight armor sub. It's not necessarily hard to fight against, but that doesn't mean it doesn't dominate the game. Like that's what I'm saying here. That's why I think that's a bad take. Like maybe if it was like maybe it was like 3 seconds like time space, then maybe like it wouldn't be so bad. But yeah, I'm not including outside builds too. But like people don't just run armor sub by itself. They'll run armor sub. You take off armor sub's armor, then they'll run another layer of armor, and it's like 5 layers of armor on top of like the sub. So that's why I think that's not a great take. Now where he placed it, he didn't place it in like a bad spot necessarily. But I still think it's the best sub in the game, personally. Everything else is like kind of like whatever.
Way better than these ones right here. So water clone does a little bit of damage, but it lowers defense by 50%. And there's not a lot of jutsus even that lower defense by that much. For stuff lower your defense that much, you can do a lot of nasty one-shot builds with this. I know, for example, a good one is if you're an 8 gates gated limit, you hit somebody with water clone and use like a taijutsu, it's an automatic one-shot. For ATKs, raiders, and healers, it's automatic. It's honestly one of the best interactions I've ever seen. Very good sub overall. Very, very good sub. Very meta, for sure.
Again, I'll say what I said earlier on water clone being above time space double clone. I feel like, again, the 4v4, 1v1s, I feel like those subs are going to outperform it just because of the fact that you're relying on the sub actually hitting them versus the sub itself just kind of being able to do whatever. In my opinion, again. And water clone, I did use it on my SPL build. But again, I feel like, I mean, maybe I could be wrong, but I feel like clones like clay, water, ice, I feel like those are more or less for attack types with like a speed build like SPL. I'm not sure like what he's describing these as. I feel like you're not gonna see it on healer. Like I feel like you're not gonna get that same type of experience on range. Personally, maybe you would. Maybe he has a different experience, but like if I'm a range and someone gets hit with my water clone, I'm not charging at them at 50 miles per hour, right, with a majestic in hand or something. I'm probably just gonna be still staying from the back, like oh, they got hit, cool. If I'm an attack type and they get hit by water clone, I have TP, almighty push, paper bombs stuck to them. Like, I feel like there's like, you know, there's more to this, like than that. That's why I feel like, again, overall, just by itself, the water clone is not that crazy. Cause I feel like you kind of, again, with those types of subs, you need to like have a build that allows you to kind of like be able to punish them off of like them getting hit. While I feel like most of these subs don't have that. Most of these subs, you're kind of just if on an average build, you're gonna get hit by the sub, and then you're just gonna like go about your day. I only own like certain builds. I feel like is where like water clone and stuff are gonna like really shine. But I think that's it. Continue.
We have the regular, this clone. I think this clone is pretty good as well too. This is the regular substitution log. I'll probably put it over here, around this area. Yeah, I think around here is good. Actually, maybe I'll move it a little bit higher. I think that's good. The only reason why I say it is because the cooldown is really low. And if you have like a low sub cooldown build, you can definitely make use of this, even if it doesn't have any extra. Actually, I'm tripping. Let me lower it a little bit, just because emergency exit has like more benefits and stuff like that. Maybe I think it's fine above stand clone for sure, but the low sub cooldown is very nice. I did have to revisit this to see if this was actually valid. With certain builds, having low sub is very, very good. Like your sub is gonna be like 10 seconds, which is kind of crazy. But overall, if you want to escape quickly, this is good at that. So you can definitely use it for sure and still be viable. Next, we have Shell.
I agree with what he said. I don't think I even really care about the ranking to change it. Again, I mean, the top tier is the only thing I would feel like could be really redesigned on this list, but for substitution clone, yeah, I mean, I use it my own self, and I use it just for that purpose. Substitution clone, I don't know why I'm saying clone. That's basic substitution. Being 20 seconds is peak in this like today and age. Back then, it really wasn't that good, but nowadays with so many one-shot builds, sub-taking builds roaming around, just being able to have a build where a sub where you are getting that junk back like fast enough to kind of like not care about getting like hit with like on an elbow or something. I feel like that's why I think it's actually really good. Now they did nerf all the other subs to 25 seconds, so nowadays basic clone isn't like as needed, especially with the accessory that just came out. Right, you can get every sub to like 10 seconds, 12.5 seconds. Now, okay, like, well, now you know it's not as ideal as it was, but still, you just by itself, I think this is definitely pretty decent of a sub. Again, for what it can do, it's very simple, but it's simple but good. And that's really it. Actually, I don't really care where you put the shadow clone, whatever. But okay, so just looking at this list here, I would definitely say the amazing tier could all be dropped, and I wouldn't care. Again, I feel like this is how I would put it. The amazing tier is fine, just it needs to be below time space, rampage, double sub, and emergency exit. Those four. Again, those four have something in common, like I said. Those four are not reliant, and technically I'm a basic sub too, but these are the subs that are not reliant on anyone. Like they're just, you sub and you're good. Like you're not trying to, like other subs, like you want someone to hit your sub or whatever. No, you're not trying to do that. You're just subbing just to, you know, get out of the situation. Kaguya sub is like that too. He put it down here. He said he doesn't really like it. I'm not mad at it. I think it definitely could go higher, but I feel like at the same time that is a fair take, because Kaguya sub is like, I feel like you have to be like a certain skill level to use it. I feel like if you're good and you know how to utilize the sub, it's fine, because I've made it work plenty of times. Like I'll hop out just at the right moment, catch them lacking, you know, that type of thing. But I feel like if you're trying to use the sub to run away, then yes, no. Like the sub is more or less a offense-defense tool. You're using it to like mix up your opponent, if you will, like a fighting game. Well, not a 2D fighting game. Everything else, I think I'm more or less fine with where you put it. I don't agree. I disagree with any of this. Like, oh, he put Bird Clone at last place. He put Baron Mode sub at last place. Like I'm fine with these. These are like things I agree with. It's just like I said. It's the first four replaced with those four. I think sub, the basic sub is fine where it's at. It's not strong, it's not weak. I think it's a perfectly balanced one. But like I said, I think if we're talking usefulness, I feel like whatchamacallit, double sub is gonna have way more like situations where it's useful than the water sub. Like especially like you just said, you can run like an accessory with it. You can actually run a whole build with this to make your sub. You can get something like like again I'm not using outside stuff, but you could basically spam these subs, and we're talking about the best sub here to spam: explosion clone or time space. But we're talking about like the best sub to kind of just get really fast. Time space will still be up there, but I think armor sub you can also say is good to spam. I just don't think water. You're not getting much value out of water clones like spamming it. Like it's kind of just there. Well, same with clay clone. Like okay, like he said, like if I'm not mistaken, you said you replaced. I'm not gonna continue yapping here, but he said he replaced something with clay clone on his healer build. If you're on a healer, I feel like clay clone is useless. Is it not? Like I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you're like a corny whipsaw user. I'm not disrespecting or nothing. I just feel like if you just spam triangle whipsaw, it's kind of a corny way to play. But like if you're like playing like that, I feel like you don't need the clay clone. Like maybe you use Hugo Fist if you're using Enchanted Sword Ghost. Then I see the reason. But then again, I feel like I've guard broken plenty of people in Enchanted Sword Ghost. I feel like still it's not really that hard to guard break people in healer. Like I feel like I don't know. Yeah, I feel like some of these. I feel like best case scenario with these subs would be the 4 I named. Is Rampage overrated like you said? Yeah, but but actually I wouldn't even call it overrated. It's definitely liked a lot. But I feel like it's not like there's really a reason why it's so stupid. It's just armor. Time space is stupid. Especially OG time because it was invincibility. It's like yeah, these effects aren't long and stuff, but they're still there. They're still annoying. But again, that's my take on this tier list. I was just like, I've never seen no one do a tier list like this, and I never thought to do one like this. So I want to see who I disagreed or agreed. I think this is fine. I think he gave a clear reasoning on why he put these where he is. And I'm probably gonna leak the video. Y'all wanna like give y'all opinions on it in the comments or whatever. But that's all from me. I think I'll catch y'all later, probably tomorrow, maybe whenever I upload. And in the meantime, peace out.